Come in.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Mackenzie, right?
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Come
Nice
sit
to meet
down.
you.
Did you find the place okay?
Yeah, I did.
That's good. Awesome. So I'm Maddie. Just so you know, I'm going to be your counselor for today. We're going to be working through some stuff. I get to tell you a little bit about me, just so you know more about who you're talking to. I have studied at Sir Sanford Fleming College and have received my SSW diploma, so which is SSW is Social Services Worker, and I'm trained in different areas of the field, and I have been a part of the field for the last 3 years now, so still new, I would say, but just trying to help some people out. So I'm going to go over a couple things before we begin. Have you ever heard of confidentiality before?
Yeah, but I don't know it like to the T.
Okay, so I'll tell you about it. So what confidentiality is basically means that everything we talk about stays in the room. I won't disclose, I won't go to coworkers, I won't go to, unless I got your permission, but I wouldn't go out and go bring this home with me, talk to my significant other about anything that we talk about because it stays between you and I. There are limits to it that I'd have to break the boundary, and I would have to, that's if you disclose you're an imminent risk to yourself or others. If my notes get subpoenaed to court and I have to discuss what we talked about in the court of law, as well as if you mention any child abuse, which a child under the age of 16, if they're being abused, or a vulnerable adult, which basically means someone who is an elder and they're experiencing abuse, or maybe somebody that you know that is disabled, has a disability, and they are experiencing abuse. Those are limits that I would have to take further outside of the room and disclose those.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about it?
No, you won't. You're gonna tell my parents or anything like that unless
No.
those like 3 things happen.
Only unless the 3 things happen, and then I might have to go and talk to the authorities, like either call the police, or if it was child abuse, I'd have to contact Children's Aid and get people involved in the scenario that you disclosed. Okay. But other than that, everything stays between you and me. I don't go tell your parents. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 16.
You're 16, so it's up to you if you want me to talk to your parents or not. I will never break that boundary, obviously, and it's up to you if they're involved in the conversation or not. Do you want them to come in for our session, or do you feel no? Okay, that's totally okay too. Awesome. So now that we got confidentiality out of the way, why don't you tell me what brought you here today?
I'm struggling like with my feelings towards my dad and our relationship.
Okay, your dad.
Yeah.
Is he here with you today, or is he?
No.
Oh no. Can you tell me more about your dad?
Well, he used to be like pretty involved in my life when like my parents were together, and they divorced like when I was like 13. So, he's never like gotten his life on track since then. So it's just like hard because I don't have a father figure or that kind of model in my life, and I'm struggling with my feelings of anger. Probably like I don't know, mostly anger, and yeah, he's not around for me, and that frustrates me.
Okay, so what it sounds like is that your parents, ever since they got divorced, he's been out of your life, basically. So how old were you when your parents were divorced?
13.
You were 13, so it's been 3 years since. How long ago since you saw your father?
Like, actually a couple weeks ago, I went to go see him.
Okay. So what would you say is the reason why you are feeling this way? What do you think is behind your feelings?
Just I guess his lack of ability to like be there for me. I have to be there for him more so than anything.
Which you should never have to take care of someone that's supposed to take care of you, right? We would want the roles to be reversed for when you're young. Usually we don't picture taking care of our parents until we're a bit older.
Yeah.
But good for you for definitely stepping up to the plate and being that support system for him, even if it doesn't seem like he's helping himself. Do you feel that he's changed since the divorce? in any sense?
Yeah, like even when my parents were together, like he was never super involved in like the things we did. Like when we went family camping, like he would come and stay the night, but he would like leave, and we would like stay there for a week or something. But like my dad wouldn't stick around, or like went to family outings, like my dad would just like always leave early or just like wouldn't come. So like I don't know if that's just because like he's an antisocial person or like whatever, but in terms of like his ability to be a father figure, that has definitely changed.
Oh, okay, I see. Wow, that's definitely tough to deal with. Do you have a good relationship? Did you have a good relationship in the past with your father?
I thought we did. Like when I think about it, I think like I was like daddy's girl because I was the only girl. But like we were never like super close. My brother and him bonded a lot more because they both loved hockey. My brother like signed up and all that stuff, so that was like their thing. My dad and I never really had a thing. But we were definitely closer back then.
Wow. So it sounds like that your dad is the root of a lot of the feelings that you're having. So what are you feeling? Could you just catch me up again on what type of feelings you're feeling?
It's hard to like narrow it down, but like I guess like there's obviously like anger, like I mentioned, sadness, a loss, I guess. Yeah, I guess that would probably be like the main feelings that I have.
Which is good that you can recognize them. That's something that not a lot of people can do. So sometimes we like to push things down the harder they get. So it's really good that you can see how you're feeling. So have you thought of do you participate in any sort of like activities that help you decrease your feeling of this scenario? Is there something that you do to take your mind off of it or type thing?
I do take a lot of time to like exercise. That's like my main thing of like getting my anxieties away. School used to be something I threw myself into to forget. And most of the time it works. A lot of the time, my distress kind of gets in the way of my schoolwork though.
Yeah.
And hanging out with friends, like being in positive environments, helps me. I think. Yeah.
I want you to think of something for a minute. When we have these sort of feelings and we want to push them down, it can almost feel like you're putting up a wall. And we do this naturally as humans. We put up a wall to block what we're feeling. But if the wall is getting in the way of how you're interacting with other things, in like schoolwork, you said it gets stressful because you try to use those to put up this wall. Do you feel that you've built a wall up?
Yeah. I had the wall built quite well. Before I had saw my dad just recently.
Oh, I see.
So that kind of crumbled it because I built the wall to kind of like put a barrier or a boundary between my dad and I because it's just really just hard to know the situation he's in and know that I can't do too much about it. But when I went and saw him and I spoke to him, and that kind of reset that wall for me. So I don't know like how I can like keep a safe boundary in which I'm not ignoring how I feel, but I'm not ignoring him as well.
Exactly. And that's a good thing to recognize that as well. Could you tell me more about how your meeting went with your dad, like how your visit went?
It was like okay. He's in a bit of a situation right now, in terms of like his living situation, his financial situation, just all like really bad, and his mental health is probably at the lowest I've ever seen anybody. So when I try to talk to him, like it was an okay conversation, but it's a bit harder to have a conversation with someone who is so detached from like reality.
Definitely.
So made me emotional to see my own dad more so, be so detached from what is actually happening around him. So that made me really emotional. I teared up a little bit while I was there. And I haven't really stopped thinking about it since.
Which makes sense, because it's definitely something hard to go through. And I hope you don't, but do you feel that you take any responsibility for the way that he has, like, for the way that things have played out for him? Or do you get upset because you just want the best for your father?
I get upset because I know that, like, he doesn't have to be in the situation that he is in. I take responsibility for thinking that I have to be there to help him because no one else is. And then, so that's the responsibility I feel, but I don't feel responsible for where he is. I just feel responsible for not being able to get him out of his situation.
And that makes sense. That definitely, I hear what you're saying. I'm just going to think hypothetically for a second. So if you could wake up tomorrow and life has changed, something's different, you don't know what it is, a miracle happened throughout the night, something has changed and it has made your problem or your situation disappear completely, what would life look like for you after that occurred? What would things look like?
I would be able to get up and I don't know, just know that, like, I don't have to worry about my dad. Like, my dad would be in a stable situation on his own.
That would be your ideal, is if he could just figure out his own self, type thing.
Yeah, and then, like, if he, like, figured out his situation and, like, his stability, then he might be able to integrate himself back into my brothers and my life as a father.
Yeah, definitely, because that's important too, right? So, if I could ask you another question, does your mom and dad have any sort of communication whatsoever, or
they do, but my mom keeps it very limited because she doesn't want to deal with that situation. Like, she's pretty good at making that boundary quite clear.
Teaching your dad that she can't always be there when needed.
Yeah.
Type thing. Yeah, I get you. It's really hard to go through something like that. It sounds really heavy, and I'm sorry that happened, because no one should have to deal with the amount that you're dealing with. And I think that I can see the strength in you, that you're very resilient and you're very compassionate towards your dad, and that you can feel for him. You care enough to want something out of him. You want him to be better. I think that's important to realize, that you do have that strength in yourself. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? We're just running short on our meeting, and I'm sorry to cut it.
No, it's okay. No, I think I've gotten I've laid a good foundation to you on the situation, so that when I come back, we can.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We'll set up an appointment for next time so we can meet again, and definitely talk about maybe some different mechanisms that we could work into the relationship either you two have, or even just setting you up for something that can maybe benefit your dad or just benefit you in general. We want to not work on you, but we want to supply you with the things that you need to be better for yourself, right? And I think that's important. So thank you for meeting with me, and I feel pretty good about. How do you feel about how our meeting went?
I think it went well.
You feel okay?
Yeah, I appreciate your support.
Okay, and that's what I'm here for. Anytime. Okay, bye.